សូមជម្រាបសួរអ្នកទាំងអស់គ្នាបងទាំងអស់គ្នា and I would like to speak in English because our speaker today is a foreigner and also really thankful for all of you to attend this webinar. This webinar is conducted by Reveres Academy with Cambodia Chambers of Commerce, and our topic today is discovering and utilizing the key to happiness. Today, our speaker is Mr. Jit. And Mr. Jit this is a profile of Mr. Jit. Mr. Jit is a global keynote speaker and author who is specialized in the areas of adapting into change, leaders, and motivative. He has inspired and helped thousands from all over the world to transform their life and business through his highly insightful and thought-provoking talk. Jit also published his first book. The name is You Deserve Happiness: How to Attract and Achieve Success by Gaining Emotional and Mental Mastery on the 5th of June 2016. After a year worth of research and writing, it has seen sold more than 1,000 copies to date and has been featured in various publications, include the December 2016 issues of Malaysia's Teller. Okay, this is a sample of the profile of Mr. Jit, and yeah, and I also want to introduce all of participants that join us today. This is our social media, so you can join us for our Telegram group. Also, you can find us by website, Facebook, and YouTube. If you don't mind, you can scan by the QR code and go inside. You will see our video in YouTube, and you can see our next webinar on Facebook, also in our website. Yeah. Okay, so I think this time I will offer to Mr. Jit to start his presentation for today. Okay, Jit, you can start your presentation.
Okay, thank you. Thank you for having me here today. Thank you all for joining me today in this webinar. For those of y'all who are wondering, no, I am not Joy. Sorry that Joy couldn't make it today. Something came up, so I'm actually standing in for her. But the topic is going to be the same. I'm still going to be talking about, discovering happiness and the keys to happiness and how we can utilize it. For those who have, first of all, thank you for the wonderful introduction. I think it was fantastic.
Sorry for my introduction is maybe it's not good, but I try my best to speak in English because a bit difficult to introduce about this, but I try already.
No worries, you did very well. Yep. So anyway, for those of you who don't know me, my name is Jit, and spoke about the book that I authored just now. So what I'm going to be sharing with you today is actually from this book that I published in 2016. It's a book called You Deserve Happiness. And there's a lot of stuff in this book which talks about personal development, self-mastery, how do we strengthen our mind, how do we improve our focus, and how do we go in search for that emotion that's called happiness. Because end of the day, we all want to be happy, right? Because I don't think I've met anyone who voluntarily says, that I don't want to be happy. My goal in life is not to be happy. It's never the case. We all want to be happy, but then there's also some problems that is associated with happiness. Some of the mistakes people make when it comes to seeking happiness. All right. And one of the biggest mistakes that people can make when it comes to finding happiness is to make finding happiness your goal. All right, let me repeat that. If you want to be happy, your goal should not be to be happy. And this is probably when you're going like, what does that mean? How can you be happy if you don't set a goal to be happy? All right, because the reality is this, okay? Happiness is an emotion. All right, emotion means what you feel. All right. What you feel inside here, what you feel here, these are emotions. All right. Emotions can be achieved at any point of time, you know, and emotions won't stay forever because we will go through different emotions in life, correct? Sometimes we are happy, sometimes we are sad, sometimes we are excited, sometimes we are motivated, sometimes we are inspired. These are all different emotions, and these emotions can change from time to time. And then sometimes, we are also angry, we are frustrated. So if we are happy, we can never be always happy. There will be some other emotion that will come there, and then we must find a way to be happy again. So why don't we set a goal to be happy? Because the thing is, emotions can be achieved at any point of time. Meaning, if I want to be happy right now, I can be happy if I want to. If I know what is going to make me happy. So emotions require triggers, and that's something I'm going to share a little bit more after this. So the goal should not be to seek happiness. The goal should be to achieve the things that is going to lead to happiness. That means the things that is going to make you happy. So this is what you must set as your goal. So that's what I mean by don't set your goal to be happy, but you got to know what are the things that is going to make you happy. Set a goal to achieve those things, because when you achieve those things, happiness is going to come with you. Okay. Quick question. I'm just curious. Can you all use the chat box? Is that a function that everyone can use?
Everyone can when everyone can want to ask a question, they can go to Q&A
Okay,
box, and
good.
also if they have any concern,
If
something they
if I
can.
have a question, they can also type it in the chat box, right?
Correct, they can
Okay,
ask.
perfect. Good. Because what I want to do now is this, because we're going to be talking about emotions, but the first thing I want to do is a very simple exercise. Let me get my slides out. It's a very simple exercise that I want everyone here to participate with. And this exercise is called an emotional vocabulary exercise. All right. An emotional vocabulary exercise. So what it means is this. All right. So we all have emotions, yes. Okay, sometimes we are happy, sometimes we're sad, sometimes we're angry, right? In 30 seconds, I'm going to give you 30 seconds now. I want you to find a piece of paper somewhere with a pen. Get a piece of paper, get a pen. I'm going to give you 30 seconds. In 30 seconds, I want you to write in your piece of paper, all right? Write down as many emotions as you can remember. The names of as many emotions as you can remember. I'm going to give you a few. One is happiness, one is happy, one is sad, one is angry, and one is joy. All right. So these are 4 emotional words. I want you to list down more words. Okay. So I'm going to start the timer now. Your 30 seconds starts now. 30 seconds. Okay, write down as many emotions as you can. Okay, so write it down in your piece of paper. 10 more seconds. 2, 1. Okay, stop. All right. So put your pen down. All right. And I want you to count how many emotions you managed to come up with. How many emotions did you manage to come up with? Okay. Now, what I want you to do is this. In the chat box, I want you to write how many emotions you came up with. Did you come up with 10 emotions, or did you come up with 5 emotions, or maybe 15 or 20? Write in the chat box as many emotions as you came up with. So I've got 6, I've got 15. All right. Come on, anyone else? How many emotions can you come up with? Okay. All right. On average, whenever an activity like this is run, more often than not, people can only come up anything between 8 to 10 emotions. These are the common emotions that we feel, and these are the only emotions that we can think of and we can use. So a lot of times we are using the same labels, even though for different emotions, right? But the reality is this: if we were to look at an emotional vocabulary, okay, that means all the different words that can, give me a minute, all the different words that can be a label for emotions, you will realize, right, there is hundreds of different words that, I've got some questions in the Q&A box as well. Okay, hold on. Nope, nothing here. No worries. If we were to look at it, there are hundreds of different words, okay, that can describe emotions from love, joy, pride, inspiration, empathy, hope, gratitude, trust, serenity, awe, happiness. These are all positive emotions. And then there are negative emotions. Negative emotions like sadness, doubt, anger, frustration, fear, envy, grief, boredom, hate, jealousy, revenge. These are all negative emotions, right? And these are just a few. There are actually hundreds more. So the real thing is this: a lot of us don't have enough labels to to identify our emotions, and because of that, right, we don't quite know what is the feeling that we are feeling, the emotion that we are feeling. We tend to use one label for everything. For example, anger itself, there are many different categories or different intensities of anger. Anger at the lowest intensity is frustration. If you build a lot of frustration, then it becomes anger. If you build a lot of anger, then it becomes rage. But if you are feeling frustrated, but if you use the word anger to describe your frustration, what's going to happen is your mind now is going to react in accordance to the word that you use. So if you say you are angry when you are only frustrated, your body and your mind is now going to act as if it's angry, which is higher intensity. Same goes if you are feeling angry, but if you are now using the word frustration, you can now lower the intensity of the emotion that you're feeling. So, this is something that we must understand. And why I'm telling you this is because one of the first things we must start doing if we want to have better control of our emotions, okay, we must start having a bigger vocabulary of emotions, and we must be able to use the right emotions at the right time. Okay, this I would say is the very beginning towards your journey of finding happiness and discovering happiness, because it's about emotional mastery. It's about understanding emotions and having mastery over your emotions. Okay, so we have a lot of emotions, positive and negative. Happiness is a positive emotion, but in our life, we are going to go through both positive and negative many times throughout the day. In a single day, there are going to be times when we're feeling positive, and then we're going to feel negative, and then we're going to feel positive again. What I want to share with you is this: we must be very aware of what we are feeling, because if we are feeling a negative emotion and if we don't trigger positive emotions, it can be very harmful to the body, because emotions, right, don't just appear out of nowhere. Emotions require triggers. Something needs to happen in order for an emotion to show up. Meaning, if I'm feeling happy now, something must have happened to trigger this happiness. If I'm feeling sad now, something must have happened to trigger that sadness. All right. So we must know what our triggers are. But having said that, we must know and identify or be aware when we are feeling sad. Why? Because if we are living in negative emotion, if we are filled with negative emotions, and negative emotions is just piling up, piling up, piling up, what we don't realize is this: negative emotions have the power. Okay. Negative emotions have the power to cloud judgment, prevent opportunities, and limit potential. That's one of the dangers of negative emotions. It clouds judgments, it prevents opportunities, and it limits potential. Whenever we are feeling negative, what happens is this: our mind, right, we start looking at like a tunnel vision. There may be a lot of opportunities around us, a lot of possibilities, a lot of solutions around us, But if we are focused on negative emotions such as anger, frustration, sadness, what happens is this: all the opportunities that is right there, we're not going to see it, and we are just going to be focused on one thing. And that one thing is going to be the problem that we are facing and the emotion that we are feeling. And the longer we spend in this state, building up that negative emotion, that emotion will become even stronger and even intensify, and it's going to close more opportunities. So this is why we have to be very careful when we are in a negative state. It is okay to feel negative because it is a natural part of our life. All right, feeling negative is a natural part of our life. But at the same time, we must know how to get out of a negative state, how to trigger positive emotions to the best of your ability. All right. So negative emotions have the power to cloud judgments. It can prevent you from seeing opportunities, and it can limit your potential. All right. Next, negative emotions will also attract a lot of negative energy. If you have heard about the law of attraction, or if you have read about the law of attraction from books like The Secret, okay, you would have heard of this concept about the law of attraction, where positive things happen to positive people, negative things happen to negative people. The law of attraction is based on the fundamental principle that whatever that we feel, we project. Whatever that we project, we then attract. So if we feel negative and we project negativity, what we're going to extract is negative experiences into our life. So we've got to be very careful with that. This is the reason why sometimes when we are feeling we're having a bad day, what happens is this, right? More and more bad things happen on that same day. All right, because energy attracts energy, and emotions create energy, and negative emotions will create negative energy. Negative energy will now attract negative experiences. Okay. And the third reason why we've got to be very careful about dwelling in negative emotions is because negative emotions can affect our overall well-being. That means it can affect our health. Right. So what happens is this, in our brain itself, our brain, whenever we are feeling a negative emotion, let's just say we are feeling anger. All right. A few things happen in our body, starting from the brain. First, right, the front of our brain, this frontal here, this part is called the frontal lobe. Okay. The frontal lobe is tasked with logical and rational thinking. This is the part of the brain that we use to think logical and to think rational. When we are feeling a negative emotion such as anger, what happens is this: blood rushes through, okay, the entire body, and blood rises and floods the frontal lobe. Okay, so literally blood rises, and it floods the frontal lobe. And when um, blood rushes and floods the frontal lobe for a few seconds, what happens is this: we lose the ability to think rationally and logically for that few seconds. That is what happens when blood rushes through. This is why there's an age-old saying, a lot of the old folks will say this: whenever you're feeling angry, take a moment, count from 1 to 10 before you react. Because what you're doing is this: when you're counting from 1 to 10, you are waiting for the blood to come down. And then when the blood comes down, you regain your ability for logical and rational thinking. So never react immediately when you're feeling a negative emotion, because chances are it's going to be the wrong reaction. It's going to be an unfavorable reaction. You've got to wait for the blood to come down. So that's the frontal lobe. And then there is a part within our brain, that now whenever we are feeling a negative emotion, such as anger, now there's another part of our brain that sends a signal to the body to release certain hormones. When we are feeling angry, normally it activates a flight or fight state, which now requires a lot of negative hormones, stress hormones to be released in the body. Stress hormones such as cortisol, adrenaline. These are all hormones that are released in the body because it's preparing the body to survive, in the event of a negative experience. So cortisol and adrenaline, what happens is this: it increases the pain threshold, it dilates the pupils, it gets us very attentive, and all that, which is part of your survival mechanism. So stress hormones, once again, it's natural, but if the body is filled with too much of stress hormones, that means if we are always feeling negative, if we're always feeling frustrated, we're always feeling angry, what's going to happen is this: the body is always going to have a lot of stress hormones, and excessive stress hormones in the body can lead to bad health. This is when we get all kind of chronic sickness, such as headaches, migraines, digestional issues, where digestive issues, with our stomach. We get things like rashes or eczemas, so all kinds of high blood pressure. Sometimes it can even trigger diseases such as diabetes or heart issues. Right. So this is why these days, whenever you see a doctor, uh, whatever the sickness may be, if they check your entire body and if they say, okay, physically nothing is wrong with you, they will always say it must be because of stress. So they will tell you to lower your stress levels down, to do things to lower your stress. Okay. Because when you are feeling stress, what you're feeling is this: you are feeling stress hormones in your body, and too much of it will affect your health. Right. So these are the three main reasons why negative emotions are dangerous for the body and for you. All right. So negative emotions can cloud judgments, can prevent opportunities, and limit potential. It can attract more negative energy, and that will lead to more negative experiences. And last of all, it can affect your overall well-being, which means it can bring down your health. You won't be as healthy as always. All right. So now that you know the dangers of negative emotions, so now the question becomes, how do you trigger positive emotions? All right. How do you trigger positive emotions? Because again, remember what I told you? Emotions require triggers. If you are feeling negative, something must have happened to trigger that negative emotions. So when you want to feel a positive emotion, when the times when you're feeling negative, you now must know how to trigger. That means what's going to be the trigger for your positive emotion. All right. So there could be many different things that trigger your positive emotion. But what I want to share with you is some of the triggers which I have found most useful and easy to do. All right. And here's five actually I'm going to share with you. How to trigger positive emotions. First, just smile. Okay. Whenever you're feeling negative, whenever you're feeling frustrated, you're feeling angry, you're feeling sad, what you need to do is you need to force a smile on your face. You've got to put on a smile on your face, because whatever happens on the inside, right, is reflected on the outside. When we are feeling negative on the inside, our body language is going to show. For example, if we are feeling sad, what's going to happen is this: our head is going to be tilted downwards, our shoulder is going to be down, and we are going to see a frown on the face because we are thinking of the negative experiences that's triggering negative emotion. At this point of time, if we were to put a smile on our face, this smile is going to force the brain to now react the entire body in accordance to the smile, because you can't be down like this while you're smiling. It doesn't work. All right. But when you smile, what happens is your body language changes. All right. So the thing is this: it is very easy to do, but at the same time, very difficult to do, because a lot of times when we are feeling negative, what happens is this: we can force a smile, but after a few seconds, right, we are going to go back to thinking about the problem at hand and the negative emotion at hand. So this is when we must really start practicing the ability to smile. So this is also why it's important to have people in your life, people around you who are positive people. Because when you are feeling down, when you are feeling negative, what you need to do is, or what you can do is, you can now look for the positive people in your life and you can talk to them, because you know what? They may be able to put a smile on your face because of the smile that they have on their face. So remember this, okay? A smile is easy to do. A smile is free. It doesn't cost any money. And a smile uses lesser muscles than a frown. So make it a habit to train yourself to smile. Okay, so that's the first way to trigger positive emotions. The second way, music. All right, use music. Music has been known for centuries to influence human emotions. There is a music for every emotion that we want, and different people resonate with different music. So you need to ask yourself, what is the music that's going to make you happy? All right. What is the music? That means if you want to feel happy, what is going to be the music that makes you happy? And put them all together. So today we've got smartphones, where we can create playlists. We've got Spotify. So make a playlist of all the songs that makes you want to dance. I call my playlist immediate happiness. In it, it's all the songs when I listen, I just feel like dancing. I feel like moving. It makes me feel good. So whenever you're feeling negative, listen to your positive songs, whatever that is for you. Again, different people have different songs. Choose the songs that work for you. All right. So that's music. Next, physical activities. Whenever you're feeling negative, if you have the time and the place, one of the best things you can do is to exercise. Whether it's going for a run or a walk, or even maybe going to the gym for a while. Because when you are working out, what's happening is this: your body is now releasing a lot of positive hormones such as serotonin, dopamine, and endorphins. These hormones are being released in the body to make you feel happier, to make you feel more motivated. And these hormones is going to now push away the negative hormones, the negative stress hormones. All right. So physical activities is good. All right. So that's three ways I've shared with you so far. One, smile. Two, music. Three, physical activities such as exercising. Four, knowledge. Read a lot or listen. Read educational stuff. Watch a motivational video. Listen to an inspirational audio book or an audio tape. All right. A lot of people know the importance of food for the body, but a lot of times we forget that our brain also needs food, and food for the brain is knowledge. So make it a point to acquire a lot of knowledge and to feed your brain with knowledge. So attending seminars like this is a good thing, where you can gain a lot of knowledge. And when the mind is learning something new, it is now releasing again happy hormones within the body. So make it a point to seek knowledge. All right. So that's four ways. And the last way that you need to look is to look at your environment. That means if you are in an environment that is making you feel negative, one of the maybe one of the easiest thing you can do is to take yourself out of that environment for a little while. So let's just say you are in the office and you are feeling very negative. It may be a good idea to leave the office, maybe go for a walk in the park nearby, or just to see something green nearby. Just move away for about 5-10 minutes, change your environment so that the trigger for the negative emotion disappears, and you can now focus your thoughts on triggering positive emotions. All right, does that make sense? So 5 ways I shared with you to trigger positive emotions. 1, smile. 2, use music. 3, exercise or do something physical. 4, look for knowledge, read books, watch a motivational video, or listen to an inspirational tape. Okay, and 5, change your environment. Okay, so now that we know how to trigger our emotions and all that, let's go specifically into how to be happy. Okay, because again, that's the whole point of today, right? Today, the world that we live in, there is a lot of change, there is a lot of stress, there's a lot of things that can happen, right, to take away our happiness. But we must be the one who takes responsibility to ensure we bring back our happiness. If you look at children, you will notice that children are very happy to be happy. They're very used to be happy. And whenever they're feeling certain emotions, they let it out. They let the world be known. Adults sometimes as we grow older, we forget, how to really be happy, and we just go with the flow of life. Okay. But this is very important. We must be in control to bring back the happiness in our life. Okay, so I'm going to share with you 3 points that is going to be important for you to remember for in order for you to always be happy. All right. One, you got to understand happiness is a state of mind. It needs triggers. Okay, it needs the right triggers. Okay, so remember we talked about this just now. Happiness is a state of mind, meaning happiness is an emotion. If you want to feel happy, you must know what are the triggers that's going to make you happy. All right, so I shared with you 5 points just now on how to trigger positive emotions. So use that. If you want to be happy, think about that. Okay, so what is the music that's going to make you happy? What are the books that's going to make you happy if you read those books? Who are the people that are going to make you happy if you talk to them? What is the environment that's going to make you happy if you go to that environment? All right. So you need to know what your triggers are. And my advice is this: write this down. Write down what your triggers for happiness are and keep them somewhere that you can remember so that the next time you are feeling unhappy, what you need to do is you just need to take out this piece of paper that you have written that says, okay, this is what I must do in order for me to be happy. Okay. So one, happiness is a state of mind. You needs the right triggers. So identify what your triggers are and utilize those triggers. Next, okay, happiness is a choice. We must understand that happiness is a choice. It depends on what we choose to focus on. You see, our mind is a wonderful thing. And whatever that we choose to focus on, it will now trigger certain emotion. Say, for example, if we are facing a challenge, and if we are looking at the challenge and we are asking ourselves, what are we going to lose because of this challenge? Immediately we are going to feel negative emotions and unhappiness because our focus is on what we're going to lose. But if we now look into the other side, which is maybe what are we going to gain by this problem? Immediately our focus now shifts to what we're going to get. And because of that, it may trigger a form of happiness. Either way, we've got to look at happiness as a choice. So if we choose to focus on being happy, we will feel happy. If we choose to focus on being unhappy, then we will be unhappy. So the choice is yours. You have to ask yourself, what do you want to feel at that point of time? Do you want to continue to feel unhappy, or do you want to do something that's going to make you happy? All right. So that's the next point. Happiness is a choice. And finally, okay, happiness is a result of your actions. All right. Meaning, what are you going to do to make it happen? You must take action. You cannot just sit and think, I want to be happy, I want to be happy, I want to be happy, I want to be happy. You must take action. You must do something that's going to make you happy. All right. So remember these 3 points. Okay. I spoke a little bit about focus just now. And here's a little of an add-on towards how our mind works. Okay. And how we can shift our focus. Whenever we are facing a challenge in life, right, our mind tends to work in one of two ways. Either our mind focuses or operates at effect, or our mind operates at cause. People who operate at effect are the ones who feel like, everything that is happening to them is out of their control and they have no choice in deciding an outcome. People who operate at effect are the ones who feel like they are the victims of circumstances and there is nothing they can do to make things better for themselves. They focus on all the reasons why they cannot do anything. Where else? The people who operate at cause are the ones who understand that they may or may not be the cause of what has happened, but they want to be the cause of what happens next. People who operate at cause are focused on results. They are focused on finding a solution. All right. People who focus on effect often are filled with negative emotions. People who operate at cause often are filled with positive emotions. People who operate at effect often say questions like, why me? They say statements like, not my choice, no choice, not my fault, there's nothing I can do. People who operate at cause are the ones who will never say, why me? Instead, they will ask a more powerful question. And the question is, what must I do next? Because when you ask the right question, you will now put yourself on the path to find the right answers. Okay, so you got to put yourself towards being a solution finder. So my advice, the next time you're faced with a problem or a challenge, ask yourself, what must I do next? This will shift your focus from problem towards finding solutions. Okay. And the last thing is this. I spoke also just now about seeking knowledge, right? Okay. What I always tell people is a best place to seek knowledge is to read a lot of books. Okay. Find books and read books, because books are filled with knowledge, information that will help strengthen your mind. Okay. And build that resilience and give you the tools to push forward when you're feeling like you cannot. Right. But if reading is really not your thing, if you don't like reading and if you prefer things like watching videos, then I would say go to places like YouTube. There's a lot of good motivational and educational videos. Don't watch just entertainment stuff. Watch something that's going to build up your mind, that's going to strengthen your mind, that's going to feed your mind with knowledge. So go to YouTube, find motivational videos or educational videos. One good place that you can find a lot of good videos is on my YouTube channel. My YouTube channel is called Ideas and Inspiration. It's what you see on the screen here. If you just go to YouTube and if you type Ideas and Inspiration, my YouTube channel will come out. Subscribe to that channel and watch the videos on the channel. There is a lot of good videos, and every 1 to 2 weeks, I put up a new video. Some videos are about 15 to 20 minutes, while other videos are just 4 to 6 minutes. Pick a video that's going to work best for you. Okay. And that can be part of your daily lifestyle, because you can watch a quick 4 to 6 minute video anywhere you are. And if you're feeling unhappy, you're feeling down, you're feeling negative emotions, a quick 4-minute video can do wonders to make you feel happy again. Okay. So with that, I'd like to say thank you so much, all right, for being here with me today. Do connect with me on LinkedIn, Facebook, YouTube. My website is there, and do remember to check out Ideas and Inspiration. Okay, so we've still got a bit of time. So what I like to do now is this. I like to open the floor for questions. Any questions that you have, please feel free to ask those questions, because one of the best ways we can learn is through questions. And when you ask a question, other people can learn through those questions as well. So if you have any questions, please feel free to put them down and I'll be happy to answer these questions.
Yes, thank you. Yeah, ladies and gentlemen, if you have any question, please go to Q&A box, and you also can go to the chat, and then you can chat directly, and then Jit will answer your question, please. We are waiting for your question. Okay.
If there's questions, if there's no questions, it's also okay. No problem.
Okay. So no question now.
Okay, no problem.
Okay. So, okay. Thank you, Jit, for today's sharing. Very good. For me, I learned some more from you also. And I hope our participants that join us today will learn more about this topic. And yeah, I've been sharing about our next webinar for next week. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, for next week, we have another webinar. The topic is 3 lies in digital marketing. And I think this is really good for people who are interested about digital marketing, because digital marketing now is very interesting, and more people they are start doing this kind of digital marketing in Cambodia. So I hope you guys can register by this QR code, or you can go directly to our Facebook page. As I mentioned in this, you can go to our website by scanning the QR code, or you can go to our Facebook page by this QR code, and also YouTube channel, and also Telegram group. So all these social media will be share you about our webinar, about our video, and about other knowledge that we get from our trainer. So okay, so thank you so much again for all participants, and thank you so much for Jit that sharing your knowledge today.
Most
And I hope we can have time together again for next webinar and with a new topic. So yeah, for me, Akun, thank you so much.
Thank
Okay.
you. Thank you for having me. It's been a
Yep,
pleasure.
thank you so much. Yep.
Thanks. Bye bye.
Yeah, so we will close the webinar because no question anymore now. Okay, thank you so much.